And so it begins. You each have your assigned tasks. Remember what you owe me. Without my aid, you'd all still be rotting behind bars where Darkshare left you. Do not fail me.
This is Noctropolis, the City of Night. Totally not Gotham. Its sworn protector Darkshire, totally not Batman, has retired after finally defeating his whole rogues gallery. And we know how well that kind of thing usually turns out. Now a mysterious new supervillain has released 5 of the most powerful back onto the streets, and the city cries out for a new hero to take up the cowl. Sorry, the cape. He's not Batman. Noctropolis is a comic book adventure from 1994, and one of relatively few to borrow the whole aesthetics without actually being, based on a license. It's an original setting, if not exactly the most original of original settings, and aimed for a mature audience, if not exactly the most mature of mature audiences.
Couldn't get me out of your head? That's alright, honey, I have that effect on men. The merchandise is still for sale, if you've got the cash.
It was made by the co-creator of the much-beloved Tex Murphy series, to be exact, the early ones, or to give them their official name, the crap ones. Mean Streets, Martian Memorandum. You can see their influence in Noctropolis' control system, with things like a travel button and oh my god, that cannot be the interface. Ugh. Anyway, you're Peter Gray, and wow do you live up to that name. You're a depressed bookstore owner who seems on the verge of putting a shotgun into your mouth. Comics, your only escape from the miserable hell that is being you. Darkshire is your favourite hero, his sidekick Stiletto your geek crush, Harley Quinn not having made it big in comics yet. Unfortunately, Darkshire has been cancelled, and as you read the last issue, okay, if you can actually read this on screen, you deserve some kind of prize. Luckily, Noctropolis came with a printed version of the box, telling the story of Darkshire's big victory and introducing several villains who will mostly never be mentioned again. There's Top Hat, a mix of Zatanna and the Joker, who actually does play a part in the story. Desperado, a cowboy type who gets unceremoniously killed. Widowmark, a bikini-clad nymphomaniac, seen here with a spine that would make Rob Liefeld wince, who also vanishes, leaving only raised eyebrows when yet another lingerie-clad villain shows up later. We also meet Stiletto, wearing an outfit that becomes even sillier when you realise an actual actress will have to wear this thing later, and the artist obviously knew this when designing it. Now, admittedly, the actress in question did go on to star in a TV series called Hotel Erotica, had a bit part as nudist girl in something called Adam 12, thanks IMDb, and played pin-up girl in Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Still, pretty silly. The comic is crap, and it's no surprise that Gray falls asleep reading it. To liven things up, though, he does take the chance for a quick erotic dream with another villainess. This is kind of cynical, but this intro uses the demo, and you can almost see it struggling to get down to the very last pixel a cover mount could get away with in order to say, hey, we've got naked ladies! Unfortunately, it just misses, so, here's the world's most pointless censor bar. Also, it doesn't. Not really. There's one, but, well, you'll see.
In this package I hold sleeps a tale to be told, and I find it a thrill to know that it's filled with your future. Though you claim the gray name, you must prove you're the same by presenting the ticket stub to win the game. Do you have it? A stub I may be, but a ticket I'm not. If you present to me, you shall not claim the pot. Funny one. That was the answer I wanted to hear. This package is yours. These numbers are clear. Beware.
The mysterious package contains another Darkshire comic, also crap, and a couple of tokens, 1 silver, 1 gold, which would be worth exactly nothing in the Crystal Dome. Flicking the silver one like a coin, for some reason, summons a magic portal, warping poor Peter into a strange new world. To give Noctropolis its due, the backgrounds are lovely. In comic book style, everything's larger than life, stunningly detailed and lovingly drawn. The FMV though, well, there's a reason FMV died out.
I talk to all kinds of people. That's my job. Even to freaks like you.
Motivate yourself, egg sucker, and tell Wanda she just moved to the bottom of my things to-do list.
All right, there's no loitering here. Say, a Darkshear suit. Never thought I'd see that outfit again.
Now, in fairness, this isn't helped by the filming technique, where the actors have to just stand and talk straight into the camera, or the way that much of the dialogue just ends up using text anyway, which is especially jarring in the action bits. The story too is pretty poor. Arriving in Noctropolis, Peter more or less just decides to become Darkshear's successor because that's what the plot says he should do, even if nobody meets is exactly impressed.
If you think masquerading as Darkshear is going to get you a freebie, you're dead wrong.
As I suspected, you're nothing but a fraud. Get out of here, you gutter rat!
Noctropolis isn't a difficult game, though it can be punishing. Unsurprisingly, Peter can die. That's what happens when you go up against supervillains, and your only power is knowing under what Dewey number to file a book on Italian etymology. You wander up and fight a gargoyle, yes, it's going to suck more than one more day. At other times, though, seemingly obvious death traps can't even touch you, while regular exploration leads to bullshit, bullshit, bullshit! Peter's first goal does make sense, though, mostly. He needs help in this strange new world, and he knows where to get it. Darkshear's priest friend, Father Desmond, and Stiletto, currently drinking herself into a stupor. She's as welcoming as you'd expect.
Who the hell asked for your opinion? Now go away and quit bugging me.
Father Desmond is more willing to talk, but he's got his own problem, the Succubus, as seen previously. She's a demon-possessed nun who's only too happy to take Peter's almost murdered by a supervillain virginity, and possibly the other kind too, by, raping him.
I wore it especially for you. But you're right. It can be so cold among the dead. Why don't you come closer and take away the chill?
She also deals a mortal wound that will kill him within 15 minutes, and this will be something of a pattern. The second bit, the mortal wounds thing. Not a pattern is that Peter actually does get to save the day. Finding the Succubus's diary, he races, ambles really, back to the church to foil her plans. And those plans? A detonator under Father Desmond's floor cushion, linked to a statuette of the Virgin Mary made of plastique. So, yeah.
So, you found my diary. It seems I underestimated you, Peter.
Luckily for Father Desmond, Stiletto has randomly decided to squeeze back into her catsuit to defend him in the most realistic cat fight since Sonya Blade's last mirror match. Any question of why Stiletto hasn't just donned the Darkshear gear herself are immediately answered when she has her Playboy Playmate of the Month ass completely kicked by the lady in the lingerie. Peter has to save the day by throwing some holy water at the Succubus, and you'd think someone would have tried that before, but there we go. Not only does this save the day, it banishes the demon and frees the nun, and everything is great. Well, except for the fact the Succubus's diary specifically says that post the rape, she's pregnant with Peter's child. This isn't mentioned ever again. Still, hey-ho.
Well fought, both of you. The Succubus was an abomination.
So, how's the nun, Father?
She's weak, but alive. Thank God she's back at last. Thanks for saving my skin, Stiletto. It surprised the hell out of me to see you again. I hope you're back for good, too.
I gotta think about it, Father. But Mr. Hero here sparked my interest. Besides, you know how much I like a good fight. What's happened to him?
Stiletto drags Peter to Darkshear's lair, where a dark pool of liquid dark conveniently heals him up. Oh, this is so 90s. Afterwards, to show her appreciation, she beats the shit out of him. You can just lie down on the ground and cry, but for some reason you can also become magically good enough at fighting to deliver a first-class beatdown on this vigilante legend, and steal a kiss, which Stiletto approves of. Donning Darkshear's costume and wielding the incredible power of a darkness grenade and sigil of invisibility, both of which are used precisely once, by the way, it's time for heroism to totally not happen. Peter faces another 4 supervillains, gets his ass kicked by every single one of them, and by the end of the game has managed to take out exactly 1, mostly by dumb luck. The first one is called Green Thumb, totally not Poison Ivy, who ties them up in vines and then just wanders off to go and find something more challenging to do, like a join the dots puzzle. Cue another splash in the pool. Evil magician Top Hat has a bit more fun. Her evil plan involves an opera house full of hostages, then kidnapping Stiletto to force Peter to go steal a lens from a nearby observatory. Again, Stiletto doesn't exactly distinguish herself here.
I require the assistance of a volunteer from the audience. Stiletto, dear, thank you for volunteering. How dependably predictable you are. Shall we dance, then?
Darkshear made a mistake not killing a bitch like you at the amusement park. It's time I corrected that.
My, Stiletto, what a wicked tongue. But then, you never were one for tactful phrasing, were you?
In fact, you want to know how dreadful Stiletto is? In the entire game, she doesn't win a single fight. Not one. Every time she tries to beat someone up, she ends up in trouble. She's not even useful as an advisor who knows the city. At the very least, she could be a second pair of eyes. I mean, 90% of the challenge of this game is spotting 2 pixel items you don't even know you need. I mean, look at this screen. Try and spot the glass cutters the game doesn't even tell you you're going to need. Okay? Take a second. Right, they're there. Look at there. This is not an isolated thing. Anyway, back to Stiletto. What can she do? Pretty much exactly what you'd expect from this game. Her superpower is making toes curl up in embarrassment.
You can't turn around every time you hit a roadblock. I'll try a little distraction. Hi. Ooh, is that a real gun? I just love a man who'll show me his weapon. Hello. I'm looking for Leon.
That's me. Yeah. I'm Leon.
You're even more handsome up close. Leon, I just had to finally meet the sexiest man I've ever seen.
The sexiest?
Oh, yes. And I was so impressed to find out what you did here. I just love a man who can handle his tools.
Ugh. Top Hat, on the plus side, is competent and enjoying herself back at the opera house. Stealing the lens that she wants is ridiculously simple, but nowhere near as simple as Peter for actually doing it. Honestly, it's like he's never read a comic book before.
Temper? Now, as I recall, we agreed to a trade. The lens for Stiletto. I commend your integrity. You fulfilled your part of our contract admirably. It is regrettable that you've made this deal with a person who is completely untrustworthy. A perfect score. I got a perfect score. That's good enough for tournament play. Well, I'd best be leaving. Please, feel free to stay and relax. By the way, is that a bouquet of flowers? Or are you just happy to see me?
She's easily my favourite of the villains, though that's not saying much. I mean, this is what Noctropolis' gangs are like.
Nice outfit. Where do you think you're going, man?
Still, with their help and the fact there's nowhere else to go, Peter finally does track down Stiletto in the lair of mutilating surgeon Master Macabre. She loses a finger, he loses consciousness. Things don't get much better from there. On the plus side, because it's important to stay positive when strapped to a gurney in a madman's lair, Stiletto does finally get a chance to shine in one of the least convincing executions ever committed to FMV.
That's for my finger.
Macabre down, the two escape, surprisingly easily considering they have to go through an obstacle course to get to the surface world. Despite Peter not actually having been hurt on this mission, he still needs a dunk in the pool, and Stiletto, she needs a sensor bar. A proper one this time.
Don't you know who I am, Shadow Man?
Dreamler here, apart from being the killer of fan service, is the final rogue and completely pointless. His weird world exists solely to pad out the game. Worse, not only does he walk off scot-free like most of the others, Peter only survives the trip because the strangely drawn one literally kicks him back to reality. So, thanks? With all the supervillains met and, kinda dealt with, Peter is finally, kinda, ready to save the day. Mostly by luck, he's gathered everything he needs to know that whoever's responsible for his recent trouble is hiding out in a tower tall enough to pierce the city's perpetual night. Finding out exactly why, though, can only be done with exposition.
You have done well, Peter. I have no other choice, Peter. I am an elemental, Peter. Mine is an immortal heritage, devoted.
Yeah, sorry. In short, there's a group called Elementals. They're powerful, but they can't interfere with mortal things because, duh. Bad yet vague stuff is happening, and as a hero you should probably do something about it. So, cue the endgame, featuring one of the greatest puzzles ever. And finally, it's time for the big reveal. Who, of the exactly 0 other people it could possibly be, is behind it all?
Darkshear? It is you.
She's right. I was your predecessor. But now you can call me Lumashear.
Sorry, but you're going with that? Look, Darkshear was bad enough, but now you're naming yourself after a lemon-scented kitchen cleaner? Well, okay. By the way, if there was any remaining doubt this guy was a riff on classic Batman...
Ha! A woman? You've a lot to learn about priorities.
Anyway, never mind that. Why? Why would the city's hero turn to the side of evil?
You fool! You don't understand real power. The power of light. I have learned to distill light to its purest form. The quintessence of light. To accomplish this, I need your help. But you've already helped me. In fact, Your veins course with the very mixture I need to form the quintessence. The combined fusion of your blood and Liquidark. And did she tell you you'd become its slave? Addicted beyond reason? We all have our little secrets. I know I've cherished the ones I've kept from you and my former enemies. When I was Darkshire, Top Hat, Macabre, the Succubus, Green Thumb, and the Drelmer were my adversaries. Following my retirement, I assisted their escape from prison and enlisted their aid anonymously as Flux. It was important to infuse your blood with Liquidark, and knowing that you'd use it to heal yourself, I arranged individual confrontations with each villain. The engagements were designed to leave you alive, but mortally wounded.
Okay. Luckily, even a plan this goofy can be dealt with the power of contrivance. You see, back at the start of the game, Peter didn't just get the silver token, he got the gold. Like Peter, the gold one has been useless for the entire game, but use it now... Yeah. If that seems anticlimactic, that's because it is. It's nothing, however, next to the Elementals finally getting off their celestial asses and dealing with Captain Jiff. Even by lazy god standards, this is pathetic. He goes down in one hit. So much for, I've tasted the power of Darkshire. How could anyone want more? The Elemental then closes things off by saying that Peter has proven himself worthy of being the next Darkshire, which is frankly up there with being offered inclusion in next year's Who's Who of Gullible Morons. It doesn't exactly help that Flash All-Purpose Cleaner has already given away that this will mean having to keep splashing in the Lazarus Pit, the Liquidark pool, which acts like a drug and will slowly burn away his soul. Noctropolis is a pretty bad game. While Peter's near-constant failures do turn out to be a plot point as well as an amusement, it doesn't make him any more enjoyable to play as. He also loses most of his everyman qualities when he starts doing things like jump kicking Stiletto in the face and not responding to, well, anything really. The city itself is nice, with a few optional areas you never have to visit, but having so many different villains means that none of them really get anything to do. Shades of Arkham City, really, more's the pity. What's on offer is also going to be very familiar to anyone who's read more than a couple of 90s comics without the edge or unique attitude it needed to make Darkshire more than a bat wannabe. It's better than Cool World, but then so is being force-fed live bees. As far as games are concerned, it wouldn't be until Toonstruck that a game really managed to cross the streams, admittedly with cartoons rather than comics, and make something special, which would sell 4 copies. Still, never mind. That one is still worth checking out. Noctropolis is ultimately pretty forgettable.